Harold was already stunned by the sight in front of him. He knew that Charlie was great, but he did not expect that the bodyguards with knives were not Charlie's opponents. Seeing the murderous Charlie, his frightened legs were shaking. Coming to grab the villa was instructed by Mrs. Wilson. Because he had an enmity with Charlie, he took the initiative to ask Mrs. Wilson to take advantage of this opportunity to destroy Charlie. However, he didn't expect that Charlie actually put down all the bodyguards with knives, and he didn't get hurt at all. Is this Charlie still a human? At this time, Charlie had already walked towards Harold with a cold face. He must teach this rude man a lesson and make him pay a painful price. Seeing Charlie walk towards him, Harold's face pales in fright, and he blurted out, "You can't kill me. I am the son of the Wilson family. If you dare to touch my hair, the Wilson family will definitely not let you go." Charlie was indifferent and ruthless. He walked up to Harold step by step, pulled him up directly by the collar, and said coldly, "The Wilson family you mentioned is not even rooted hair in my eyes. Claire, uncle, please let Charlie stop." In a hurry, Harold pleaded to Claire and Jacob in a panic, completely forgetting the appearance of being defiant before. Claire said coldly, "You have what you end up with today, you deserve it." Jacob looked at Claire and then at Harold, struggling very much. Ask yourself, Jacob has been completely disappointed with the people of the Wilson family. Although Harold is his nephew, he doesn't care about family affection, so why should he care? But after all, the Wilson family still had some power. If Charlie really killed Harold, he would definitely usher in crazy revenge from the Wilson family. Thinking of this, Jacob said helplessly, "Charlie, give him a lesson." Charlie thought for a moment, then coldly nodded, and pressed Harold to the ground. The gravel plunged directly into his face, and the blood could not stop flowing down. "I can spare your life, but you have annoyed me. The death penalty is unavoidable, and the living sin cannot escape." With that, Charlie punched him in the lower abdomen. This punch was full of force and directly hit Harold's groin. Although Harold is just an ordinary person, he doesn't have any martial arts cultivation skills, but this punch is enough to destroy his ability in that area. From now on, this kid will become an incompetent man. Harold only felt the punch coming over at this time. It was the most painful pain in the world. Let him lie on the ground in pain and roll, and he doesn't know what sequelae this punch will bring to him. Afterwards, Charlie immediately called the community security, arrested all the people and sent them to the bureau, and then looked at Libo's injuries. Fortunately, Uncle Libo only suffered some skin injuries, but it was not a major problem, and Charlie was relieved. However, Charlie was extremely angry at the Wilson family. Since the Wilson family is so disgusting, they must not blame him now. They arrived home. Jacob sat on the sofa. The bloodstains on his face had been dealt with, but he still had a blue nose and a swollen face. There was a bruise on his forehead. He was also in a trance and his head was dizzy. Today, the eldest brother ordered the bodyguard to beat him badly. He felt cold and uncomfortable, and he is still angrily. Claire rubbed medicine on his forehead and said, "Dad, Charlie has already helped you out, so don't take it too seriously." Jacob sighed and said, "I'm chilling, my mother, my brother, none of them treat me as their own." After that, Jacob said again, "Claire, now they have driven you out of the Wilson group, what are your plans next?" Claire said, "Plan? I'll find a job first." Seeing this, Charlie didn't speak, but walked to the balcony and called Solomon. As soon as he spoke, Charlie asked him, "Your nephew Gerald, is there a marriage contract with Wendy?" "Yes." Solomon hurriedly asked, "Mr. Wade have any instructions?" Charlie said coldly, "I have broken up with the Wilson family. If your white family is still intermarried with the Wilson family, it will not give me a good impression. If there are any contradictions, then, don't blame me for being impolite." When Solomon heard this, he suddenly became nervous and blurted out, "Mr. Wade, don't get me wrong. Our white family has long wanted to regret the marriage. If it weren't for Mr. Wade as the son-in-law of the Wilson family, how could we marry a woman like Wendy? Don't worry, I will arrange someone to go there and notify the Wilson family to dissolve the engagement." Charlie nodded and said with satisfaction, "It's up to you." Solomon hurriedly said, "Mr. Wade, don't worry, I will look forward to everything in the future of my White family. Yeah. Charlie said lightly. Okay, do it now. Okay, Mr. Wade. Didn't the Wilson family want to go to the White family? In this case, let their wishful thinking come to nothing. Subsequently, Charlie called Doris of the M. Grand group. The Wilson family is now a street dog, and they have to fight harder. As soon as the call was connected, Charlie said coldly, Doris, now announce to the public that M. Grand Group has suspended all cooperation with Wilson Group and will always exclude them from the scope of cooperation. Doris asked in surprise, Mr. Wade, this is the company of the young grandma's family. Did they do so much harm to Ms. Claire? Charlie said indifferently, my wife has broken with them, and they will have nothing to do with me and my wife in the future. Only then did Doris understood, and immediately blurted out, don't worry, Mr. Wade, I know. I'll make a statement. In this way, the Wilson family is completely finished.